And welcome back. For those who have just joined us, smoking my grandfather's no-name pipe, kind of a basket pipe with some will go with best brown flake. I never know when I'm plugging my lapel mic that I'm using. It's in the bag for extra sort of otherwise it gets pretty harsh and I never know where to put it. Shall I put it on me? Shall I put it on the table in front of me? I believe last video was a little bit woofy and so put it closer, so begging your pardon in advance. I once filmed a video and the mic wasn't plugged in properly and it was an older phone, so I had a video with no audio, had to scrap it. Anyways, I promised you people a rant, so here goes. It'll be a movie rant. I kind of like those. We are living basically right now in the era of remakes, and franchises are launched and relaunched. Each new film, especially a sort of a special effects heavy blockbuster film, everyone intends it to be a first in the series or something like that. There's a lot coming out right now, and we, among other things, we have witnessed yet another attempt to invigorate, revitalize the Predator franchise, which failed miserably, as usual. Sorry, I'm just getting to this because the film left cinemas a long time ago, but nevertheless, I'm using this one as a most recent example because you maybe remember my video about Alien Covenant. I did a brief video just ranting, saying how I hated the film. Well, I saw Predator, the new one, at night with my wife, who had a headache after, I think, her, for the lack of a better term, the gig that she and her folk ensemble held. They held sort of a, like, an Irish traditional music session, when everyone gathers and plays music. They basically gathered, invited a few people, and we were just spent an evening singing different songs, in duets, or everybody was singing, if the song, the lyrics. So it happens in Russia as well. No instruments, just people singing. And after that we went to the other part of the city, just to the other end of the city, because there was the only cinema movie theater that was still having the Predator, and I wanted to see, and my wife said, okay, you did me a favor, my turn, I'm doing you a favor, let's go see Predator. We watched that, and she wasn't infuriated. She said it was okay, and it was okay for the an average Joe who has no history with the series itself. I do have a history. So the more I think about this film, the more I hate it. It was again done by a person who is very much familiar with the franchise, Shane Black, this time, who played a role in the original Predator. And he scripted a couple of really, really good action films. Lethal Weapon comes to mind. And, you know, he knows how to make a more, well, a compelling story, make the characters relatable. And I believe there's nothing wrong with the character. Everyone was complaining about the Predator, that the characters are cookie cutters, they have no motivation, they have no chemistry between them, blah 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 blah. We don't want to see a buddy film, or comedy with idiots. I feel there was nothing particularly wrong with this particular band of people. Just as I thought there was nothing particularly wrong with the team at The Predators, the previous film, with Adrian Brody. And the Russian, I don't remember his name, his surname is Taktarov, Russian actor who was wielding a minigun. That was kind of cool. I basically have probably one major gripe with this new Predator film, and that's the Predator. When I said that Shane Black butchered the franchise once again, this time in Alien Covenant they just undermined it and it collapsed on itself. In Predator they did it literally. Spoilers ahead, just in case anyone cares. They introduced a new breed, sort of a uber predator, which is sort of a hulking CGI monstrosity. And it appears in its first major scene. He literally butchers a regular predator hunter, the one we see in the first and the second film. And in doing so, it butchers the film. From this point on, it's not a Predator film, you know. The Predator, at its core, it's a fight between a human and an alien, and the alien is a very particular type. This sort of retro guy in a rubber suit with cool face and mandibles and dreadlocks. And all this, warrior culture aspect, taking trophies, fighting as per some sort of, code of honor. And the problem with all these, modern day filmmakers is for some reason they believe that the audience is bored with this concept, with the core concept of the film. Street sweepers. So Ridley Scott in Alien believed the audience was bored with the concept of, isolation and body horror and fear of tight spaces and things pouncing at you from the dark. The core of Alien. And he instead thought it was an appropriate time and place to preach his, creationist ideas. And Shane Black, either him or studio executives or scriptwriter, I don't give a fuck who, they thought that the audience was bored with a guy in a rubber suit. They thought that it was just too, pedestrian, so they wanted an uber predator, big guy, who can basically tear a regular predator limb from limb. And from this point on, it ceases to be a predator film. It becomes, another sort of another animal entirely. People are complaining about the dogs, and no one gives a shit. There's no, I think, from the first third of the film, the regular hunter is butchered. Halfway into the film, the regular hunter is butchered, and there's no predator film from this point on. Everyone is running, searching for a thing, as usual. And this hulking, thing appears, tears everyone. In the most R-rated ways imaginable. But it's not a predator film. There's no character that gives the film its name, so it doesn't work. So the audience won't relate to that. Older fans like myself feel cheated. Newer fans that maybe, just maybe, will be fascinated by this retro sci-fi action approach. They don't get a chance, and they're better off, going back to old films from the 80s. Or was it 90s? First two Predator films, because I love the second film. I just love it. It's a great film in itself. That was a great way to do a film differently. This one, swapping the environment is okay. Swapping, the characters is okay. Changing the core character in the film is not okay. You're better off doing a separate film. Either a separate film or a crossover, because I had nothing against AVP, Alien vs Predator. Even the second one, which is dark as fuck, and people claim it's people have gripes about this film, and I don't blame them. But at least it had aliens, facehuggers, predators. Everything was okay. We saw the familiar faces, we saw references. That was nice. This one, it's not a Predator film, plain and simple. And I feel cheated, and I feel bad for the franchise. It's like it's cursed, Anything from first two films were, first one is great, second one I like it. It was at least okay, and it went downhill from there. Maybe these are just, products of their time, and it's impossible to make them nowadays. Maybe that's the case. But so yet another failed attempt. And I wanted to like this film, I really did. For crying out loud, Thomas Jane is in the film, and there are a certain number of actors. I see an actor, I watch the film. Thomas Jane, Sean Pertwee, Ron Perlman. I don't know why I'm attracted to these guys. If I see them, I'll try to watch the film. He does okay. All these, convicts and madmen are doing okay. They're doing their part, like dying in suitably, horrible ways. Even the kid, the main hero's son, that's okay. I didn't have a huge problem with that, with him being in the film. I thought the ending was hilarious. It would be even, in the end they basically introduce sort of a robotic suit for battling predators. I thought to myself, I think everyone in the audience thought to myself, that's the place where Tony Stark, the Iron Man, comes in. And they have the most ridiculous crossover ever. Of course that won't happen. Because Marvel is huge, and having a crossover with a failed franchise, not gonna happen. Too bad. So there we have it. There's my rant. There's the problem I have with this doomed franchise. If you're having a movie that was in the beginning about the guy in the rubber suit, do that, please. Next time. If there will be a next time. I doubt that. Pushing almost 20 minutes already. I'll sign off. Hope it was entertaining some way. I'll probably film another video. Still have some tobacco to smoke, so stay tuned. For those who are not going to stay tuned, have a great weekend, and I'll be back real soon in another one of my videos. Thanks so much. Bye, people.